Hey guys, this is Yusuf from the future. I don't want to disturb your podcast listening experience, but I do want to say this episode was only supposed to go for 40 minutes, but it was so fucking fire that we went on for an hour and a half. And so what I decided to do was split the hour and a half interview into 2 episodes. So right now, this episode you're listening to is part 1, and part 2 should be up next week. And so, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. It was a really good interview. Aden Rao, the guy I'm interviewing, he has a lot to talk about. He's a great guy. Yeah, I hope you guys like it.
Welcome to Not Financial Advice. My name's Aden. I'm 18 years old, and I trade crypto futures, and I do TikTok and other forms of like content creation in relation to money and things like that. And yeah,
Kind of like what he said. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Not Financial Advice. Kind of like how a lot of these interviews go. Cooper and Toby isn't here, so that kind of sucks. But we have an amazing guest on today. He kind of introduced himself already. We'll just get started. So you said you trade crypto futures and stuff. How did you kind of get into that space? What kind of got you started?
so with crypto futures, I actually initially started with stocks when I was 15 years old, and my initial plan for starting with stocks was I was into coding and all that, and I wanted to do like computer science or whatever. And then after I I got into stocks because computer like tech companies, they'll give stock options, right? So I was like, oh, it'll probably be a good idea if I just were to get into stocks and learn it now. So that at 15 years old, I started stocks. And then at first I was going to long-term invest, like Warren Buffett type style, hold for like 5 to 30 years or whatever it may be, or for even longer. And then I think the first stock I bought was Uber, but then it was like way too slow. So then I went to swing trading. Then after swing trading, so swing trading is just like you hold a stock for more than one day. And then I got into day trading stocks. Then after while I was doing all this at like 15 years old, I was also still working. Or I started working at like McDonald's. It's like a part-time job. And then obviously when I started trading stocks, I would tell everyone about, oh yeah, I do stocks, blah blah blah. Obviously, I wasn't making too much money at the time, maybe like a couple hundred, uh, like no more than like 2,000 or 1,000 a month. But then one of my friends at McDonald's told me about crypto. So then he told me he was doing like shit coins are called, where they're like really really volatile, so really small cap cryptos. And then I tried that out once. It didn't work out. So then I sort of switched to crypto futures through that, because I found out about it through like an app called KuCoin, and then I did crypto futures, and then yeah, and then I turned like 2,000 into like 6 figures at one point, or still is 6 figures, but yeah.
Wow, holy shit! And so, just for anyone who doesn't actually know what crypto futures is just explain it for us.
Okay, so basically, so let's say traditionally you have something called spot. So let's say I buy Bitcoin at 20,000, I have to put up 20,000 to get that full Bitcoin, right? Whereas with crypto futures, what I can do is I can put in, let's say $100, or yeah, let's say $100 to make it simple, $100, and then let's say you trade on 20x leverage, now your position is $2,000. So the notional value is $100, but with leverage, which is basically like what crypto futures is, leverage, you now have a $2,000 position. So then if Bitcoin, another way you can think of it is, let's say you buy one Bitcoin and Bitcoin goes up 1%, you get a 1% gain. But if Bitcoin goes up 1% on crypto futures and you're on 20x, you get a 20% gain instead of 1%. So essentially your money is like amplified and you get higher gains, but then that also comes with higher risk, where if it goes down, then you lose X amount of money or whatever it may be. So it and then you also have like a liquidation price. So technically, since it's not your money, if you hit your, like the brokerage, they have a liquidation price that they'll set for you, or the exchange, and then if you hit that liquidation price, then you lose all your money in that position, because it's a risk for them to continue letting you hold that position, if that makes sense. But you can never go past your either account value or position value. So if I have $100 position, I can max loss is $100. It's not like you can get into debt or anything like that.
By leverage, you do mean, is that what you mean? You mean debt? Like you're borrowing someone else's money and trading?
I think the like way it works is essentially it's like the exchange's money, but but you can't go into debt. Like you can't lose more than what money you've already put up. So you're like leveraging your $100 to get access to like a $2,000 position, and you can actually go up to 100x. But let's say you were to set your leverage at 100x, your position would be your liquidation price. Let's say I enter a trade on Bitcoin at $20,000. It only has to drop on 100x, I think 1% for you to get liquidated, because like 1 times 100, right? And then on 20x it would be 5, so 20 times 5, 100%. So whatever equals out to 100%, that's your price of where your liquidation price would be, if that makes sense.
So you're essentially borrowing, like a trading exchange. You're essentially borrowing their money and trading with it. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically, but it's different than margin, because margin you can actually go into negatives.
But if we go back to that example, you said you have $100. The most you can lose is $100, correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's say you have 20x leverage. You can gain 20x on, however much it goes up.
Yeah, like it goes up 1%, you'll get a 20% gain instead of 1% gain.
How is that beneficial for for the exchange though? How are they making money on that? Because it kind of seems like it's all for the trader, not for the investing firm.
They make a lot of money on fees. Like the fees will be 0.007%, I think. You might have to fact check me on that. It's like a really, really small percentage, under 1% they get of your trades. And I've actually seen like a lot of content creators, they'll have like referral links in their bio to exchanges, and some of like not even the exchange, but some of the content creators, they'll make millions from their people's fees. Like there's some guys who make like literally $1 million or more in a year from just the fees. So the exchange definitely makes like a lot of money from fees.
What you said, the liquidation point, that's basically to reduce their risk, but they're also kind of maximizing the amount of money they make through the fees. That's very smart. That's very interesting. Wow.
I would have to look in more to like the business model of how an exchange makes money, but like one way is the fees, and they obviously have other avenues of making money, I'm pretty sure.
And when you do invest into these cryptos and you kind of leverage money on them, what are you kind of looking for? Do you only trade kind of like the standard cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, or do you kind of go into all these like altcoins? What do you kind of do with that?
I usually trade like all types. Usually I have like 4 to 5 that I'll stick to, that I'll like always look towards to trade. Mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum is what I stick to, and then the altcoins I'll trade if I see something else on the chart. So I have about 20 coins on my watch list. So like I said, mainly Bitcoin and Ethereum are my go-tos, and then I'll have other coins that I'll trade like Matic, sometimes Shiba Inu, VET like VeChain, and then sometimes BNB. Those are the main ones, and then I have like maybe 5 others on my watch list that I sometimes trade.
So you don't trade because you believe in the crypto. You're trading based upon like its price and its future price, like what you think it'll go.
Yeah, purely price action, and then I'll look at like other economic, like macroeconomic events, things like that.
Like let's say with Ethereum, right? Because kind of like with the merge and everything that's kind of happened. Are you like in this example specifically, are you investing based on like its value in the future and how important it may be in society, or are you going kind of like how you usually trade? Is it purely based off like the price?
Yeah, but it's mostly based off price action. Like those types of like Ethereum merges and things like that, those are called like catalysts. So with a catalyst, the way I'll look to play it is the exact same way I used to play stock catalyst, where I'll trade the run up ahead and then the reaction after. I'll never trade like both, like I'll usually never trade like the day of the catalyst and try to predict which way the crypto moves, because usually it's pretty hard to predict.
Because I do remember I saw one of your TikToks, and it was about the merge, and you said you're not gonna buy beforehand. You're gonna wait until either the market kind of slopes down or slopes up, and then you're gonna put in a investment.
That's like the reaction after that I like playing. So with Ethereum, even if you waited like after the merge, you would still be able to trade and get like a good percent gain. Like the merge was, so yeah, it was the 13th. Like if you look on the chart, and then there's like a huge drop, right? Even after that huge drop, what happened is or maybe the 15th. Yeah, okay, probably the 15th. But yeah, either way, there was a huge drop, and Ethereum broke below a support like after the reaction. So then I looked to short it, and then even though you could say I shorted late because I waited for the reaction, I still made a good amount of profit. Like it dropped 14% after the initial drop. So you can
How much
still
did you
make a
make
lot of
from it?
money. From that trade specifically, I don't think I actually took the Ethereum short. I remember because I stopped trading after, I'll check the exact date, but yeah, so I made most of my like month's profit on the 10th. So I got uh a really good game from Bitcoin long. So then after the 9th and 10th, I was out of sort of all positions. I think I did add a small little long before the um merge, but then I just got stopped out for a small loss. But that was sort of more like a risky position, you know what I mean? Where it wasn't
Yeah.
really like I knew my risk. I think I risked like maybe like $100 or $200, something like that. So it wasn't a big deal. And I already made like then after like that point, I took that small loss. I was like, okay, I already hit my monthly goal for the month. There's no point over trading. Yeah, I like, got stopped out for a small loss, like $100 $200 on that Ethereum long. But I already hit like before I got like a 1200% gain from Bitcoin long. I took I doubled my money, then I took 50% out, then I tripled my money, like 300% gain, then I took another 50% out, and then I let the rest ride until like over 1000%, then I sold. So that was like September 9th. So then I entered like one more little small Ethereum trade, like $100 $200, got stopped out, and then after that I just didn't trade.
So you doubled, then tripled your money.
So yeah, I exited at I don't even see if that 86%. It might be inverted, but that says 86%. And then I sold again, and I also did this with Ethereum too, but I'm sure the Bitcoin one. 287%. I sold 50% there, and then I sold another 50% at the 1200% gain.
Okay, I understand. And okay, let's say typical day in your life. How much would you make? Like just in one day, how much do you make?
Sometimes no money. Like typically, what I aim, like I wouldn't really put like a specific day on it. Like I don't try to force myself to make trades in a day to make a set amount of money. But usually I aim for 10K from trading a month. That's like my goal. If I hit 10K, then I stop trading, which is why for like the rest of September I basically took no trades because I already hit 10K. But like I aim for 10 to 15, like 10K, I'll stop trading completely because there's no point trying to be greedy and make more money. But sometimes it'll only be like 5 to 7K a month. But then usually with TikTok or whatever, I'll be able to cross 5 figures.
When you in like a typical day, right? Because this sort of thing, you kind of have to be like analyzing the market the entire time. Are you kind of just sitting at your desk all day from like market open to market close, just watching the market?
No, not really. Like usually more of my time and effort goes towards like content creation and all that. Uh, like when the market was good, I would spend like hours and hours. Like so, for example, during August 2021, so about a year ago, uh, like you know how it shows on iPhone how many like pickups you have on your phone, like what's the first app you have when you pick up. So across like
Yeah.
TradingView, which is a platform that I used to chart, and then my brokerage at the time, Binance. Uh, every time I like picked up my phone, like the count for it was like 600 across both of them, like 400 for Binance, 200 for TradingView. So like I would pick up my phone, like I picked up my phone like 600 times throughout the day, just checking Binance or TradingView.
Like the different prices.
Yeah, usually I'll check
Okay.
prices, positions, things like that. So like,
Can you
but
just
usually those types of like let's say 5 hour screen time type days on just trading, now it's not efficient to do that. Like you probably lose more money if you spend that amount of time. So now it's like maybe I'll check it like 5 times throughout the day, 4 times max, just to like get an idea of like what's happening, uh, and just like see, okay, has Bitcoin? I trade off support and resistance, right? So I can clearly indicate what the range is on Bitcoin. So I can basically sort of see that has Bitcoin broken out of range, is still in a range, things like that.
Okay, and are you only so you kind of trade less nowadays? Is that because we're kind of in like a bear run? Like the market's kind of down and there's less opportunities?
Yeah, like traders call it like chop, where like the market goes up down, which some traders can be really profitable during this time. I'm still sort of working on getting better at trading this time because obviously my trading isn't perfect by any means, but like I'm still managing to be profitable, but like now is sort of like the harder time to trade, where like a lot of people, like the reason they call it chop is because like a lot of people like get stopped out, things like that. So it, I know there's a lot of traders who were like very very profitable during this time, and also I sort of started shorting late, right? Like when Bitcoin hit like 40,000, I was like, okay, it's gonna bounce, but that never came. So like in hindsight, I should have flipped my bias to short the moment Bitcoin broke below its alt, ran up to 69,000. The moment it dropped back below 64,000, I should have short bias on, but I didn't do that. So there were a lot of traders who went from 64 all the way to 18, and they timed it perfectly. But I only really played the run up ahead, so the third or 28. So like in July 2021, I think Bitcoin was around 28,000. I played 28 to 69. I got all that movement up, well, like from just trading. So like up down up down. Usually I just long, and that was a really simple time. And then from 64 to 18, I never flipped my bias, so I kind of lost a bit of money there. And then around 30, when we came back to 30, I was like, okay, now it's time. Short bias on. Market's just gonna keep on dipping, and that's, sorry, I muted my mic. Yeah, so that's what happened. So 30 to 18, I sort of started playing the downtrend, and then now when we touched 17, we went, we sort of been in like this little chop fest where it's like 17 to 24, and you can still play that pretty well. And I've been doing it like decently, but it it still sort of like depends. Like you can still, like now is not the best time to trade. Like from my trading style, or from my trading ability, I haven't been able to trade the best. Like still profitable, but I'm not aiming for like the 200 100x's type thing now. So now I'm just putting all my time and effort mostly towards like content creation, all that.
Yeah, okay, I understand. And so would you kind of say like day trading or future trading, it's more seasonal? It's more dependent on where the market is compared to just like it's not something you can really do consistently every day.
Yeah, well, you can, like in terms of your trading style, but like there's just times where like it'll be better, and then there's times where you can't expect like $2,000 in a day or $10,000 in a day. These are like the times where like, depending on like your trading size, like I'm not trading with $1 million because I don't have $1 million, but maybe if I was trading with $1 million, I'd probably still only aim for like $1,000 days. Or if I was trading with like, or me personally trading with around like 100, I'm aiming for like maybe like $200 days, $300 days. Like I said, just like aiming for just 10K a month. That's when I stop, and I don't always hit that 10K, right? So sometimes it'll be a 5K, 7K. So in comparison, I'm only aiming for 10%. Or actually, my portfolio is more than 100K, but I'm in like low six figures, but I'm only aiming for like 5 to 10% type gains. Whereas back in the bull market, people aim for 5%, 10% in a day type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Well, kind of on that topic, what is your best day? Like, how much have you made in a day, and when was that?
Oh yeah, the most money I made in one day was like 10K, but that was during August, August or September that was during, but yeah,
August
that was the best
2021.
day. Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. One thing I do want to ask, right? Because I'm assuming in August last year you were 17. How were your how did your parents kind of react when you said like, "Hey mom, hey dad, I just made 10K today, like just off my computer." Like, what was that sort of reaction like?
I guess they were just like I didn't usually l- like it's I think it came off sort of like oh it's like lucky, it won't last that long type thing, which I guess they were like kind of right, but it's all seasonal, right? So once you make like 100, then you wait a year or two, then you have now 100K. Now you can suddenly make a million when the market goes back on easy mode.
Yeah.
So they were like partially right that it wouldn't last forever, and it didn't. But the thing is like I still didn't really have any like real type of business off trading. So at the time, my TikTok was like 30,000 followers. I wasn't making much money from that. Maybe if I got lucky, maybe like one sponsorship a month or something like that. So I didn't have any type of real business. Now, though, like if my parents or someone else were to say, "Oh, you're kind of getting lucky" or something like that, I'd be like, "No, not really," because like I have something of substance.
Like you have a record. It's not really like a lot of people who kind of just make 2K off Dogecoin and then think they're the best trader.
Yeah, it's sustainable. Like I know, like I'm not gonna like quote unquote fall off. Ideally, hopefully, but like I'm much more confident right now that I can like continue this.
And so yeah, did you drop out of like school or anything? Because I'm assuming like day trading kind of requires a lot of time, and you can only really work during the day when the market is open. Did you drop out of school to kind of make time for that, or are you in uni? Like what's that sort of thing?
Yeah, so crypto is actually 24/7, so like there's not really
Oh
too
yeah.
much of a time constraint, but there are the like traditional stock market times is when crypto is usually most volatile. So like you have traders break it up into like New York time, London, and then China, obviously. So like those three markets. So China will happen for me like New York time. It'll be during like the middle of the night. You'll see like random spikes, things like that. And then, but usually 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. like my time, like New York, or like Eastern time or whatever. That's when it's usually like the most volatile. So during the day, ideally is when you want to be trading. So you are kind of right about that. Like, uh, but so yeah, like I said, New York open, London open, and then China. But I'm still in university. I don't know for how long though. Like right now I was in computer science. I switched to finance, and I'm in second year. But since I switched, I have to take a bunch of first year courses. Right now, I still am. I can still sort of balance everything pretty well. And honestly, I don't really pay attention too much in school. Like I've been telling, like how like family members or something like that. So how's school? How's this? Like oh, how's school going? And then usually I'll be like,
Yeah.
I don't really know. My main focus is just money and business and all that. And so like school is like literally like bottom of a list of priorities. I'm just doing enough to pass, I guess.
And so, okay, kind of my question for this is why haven't you dropped out sooner? Are you kind of do you want to only graduate just for the degree, just so you can say like, well, I mean now you're in finance, so you can say like, oh, I have a finance degree, or are you going because I mean like I come like from a ethnic foreign family, right? Like I'm Arabic, and I mean like my parents always saying like just you need a degree, you need the degree, you need the degree. Are you kind of only pursuing it for the degree, or are there like kind of other motives behind it?
My parents are the same way. They like want me to get a degree, all that. So one, I can't drop out because I'm still living with them. But I do actually. Hopefully they're not watching, but I do plan to do that in like sort of like a roundabout way. So like essentially, where they hopefully won't find out. But essentially, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna move out. Then I'm gonna take a break where you can take up to 2 years off of school, and then hopefully within those 2 years, my business and trading continues to do well. I then I fully drop out, and then I guess 2 3 years later, I come back to them saying, "Oh yeah, I haven't been in school," and then see what they say. But ideally, by this time, I'm like a multi-millionaire. So realistically, if they say anything, I'll be, yeah, I don't care.
There is you may have seen around kind of like, have you heard of quiet quitting, where people, instead of just quitting their jobs, they kind of just start being very like less and less productive. It's kind of like what you're doing.
Yeah, with school, yeah, yeah. Well, like it, and since I'm in business, right? Business is like the easiest courses ever, so it's not hard to like put maybe like including class time. I probably spend like 2 to 3 hours a day on school, but including like homework time or whatever. I guess there's no homework, but like including assignments, I could probably spend like 5 to 10 hours max a week and do completely fine and probably get 70s. And that's like overshooting, you know what I mean? It's like I could probably aim for less and put less time in.
And your parents aren't your parents aren't really bothered by that? Are they ever like, oh, you're working? Because I hear this from my parents. They're like, oh, you're working too hard on this business thing. Like, put more effort into business. Do you kind of put more effort into school? Do you ever hear that?
Yeah, my dad's like, oh, go study, and I'm like, no, I'm not studying. Well, like I've made it clear. I've told them like specifically, I don't want this job. I'm literally only doing this degree just to kind of please you guys. I told them I'd rather die than work a 9 to 5 or something like that. Like I never want a job, so I've made that clear that like I'm literally just getting this piece of paper, just say I have this degree to them, so they'll like basically leave me alone type thing. Like yeah, so like they know that. Like I made it clear that this degree is like useless to me. Like I'll never ever need it. So all I need is to get this piece of stupid paper and then show them. So they like I've kind of made it clear that I'm doing like the bare minimum to get this dumb piece of paper.
I kind of don't understand the logic, not from our side, like kind of from their side, because it's like the amount of money that kind of goes into uni, and like let's say in your position, right? The whole point of a job is to make money, correct? And at your stage, you've made by far a lot more money than a lot of people who have a job at your age. And I don't get it when parents will still want their kids to go to uni or to finish school, even when they have very successful businesses. Because like let's say university, right? That like there's a lot of debt, there's a lot of you actually have to pay for it. I don't really understand like the concept behind it. You're kind of just wasting money at that point.
I think I think for some parents it could be like a bragging thing. Oh, my kid has a degree. Two, it's like societal. They believe in their heart that like to be quote unquote successful, you need a degree, whatever. And I've talked to so many people, and literally everyone, when I say, oh, I'm thinking of dropping out, taking a break, some people, when I tell them how much I'm making, they're like, okay, it kind of makes sense. But still, so many people, even if I say, oh, I'm making X amount of like dollars per month, just like get people's opinion, everyone will say, oh, stay in school, you need that degree just in case, you know what I mean? But I don't know, like I can afford to do it without taking on debt, but I know there's like a lot of people who can't. And the thing is my problem with like the issue of like the degree is like school will always be there, but when you have momentum on TikTok or business or crypto or whatever it may be, you don't know how long that'll last. Like if you take off, let's say if I were to start prioritizing school over my TikTok blowing up right now, right? I got like a video with 4 million views, and let's say hypothetically, I'm just like, okay, whatever, 4 million views. Let me instead of prioritize school over that. Let's say before I got that viral video, right? I had like maybe 40,000 followers. I was putting more time and effort and things like that. Let's say I hadn't put in that time and effort into TikTok, I would have not gotten that viral video, which doubled my following, which doubled my income because I can double my sponsor rates, right? So when you have momentum, it's good to keep on going, and you can literally, like I said, always come back to school. Like, it's so stupid that the idea that like your business is less of a priority than school, when school you can always return back to, and your business, everything is six. I can't say the word. Like, everything cycles in business, right? You have business cycles where it's up down, right? And you see this in every single market with like social media, crypto, doesn't matter what business. Like, you have times where like maybe podcasting does better, and then podcasting dips, or podcasting does way better, right? So if you get momentum on your podcast business, TikTok, you should put in that all the effort right now to keep that momentum going while it's like up here, because it's like exponential, and then the curve starts to flatten out. But then by the time the curve starts flattening out, you've already set yourself up good enough to last out that like little dip period, and then all of a sudden you're back up to an up period. Whereas school, you can always come back to it. Like, I never want to be on like an uptrend and just fall off because I decided to prioritize school. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I think it's also kind of like it's a bit like compounding interest, right? Like, if there's someone who invests $100 a day, and then they sell when they're 60, like let's say into like an ETF or something, and then there's someone who does the same thing, $100 a day, and they sell when they're 60, but they do it 5-10 years later. The first person who got in early is gonna have exponentially more money. Like, it's like that, like a kind of like what you said. It's like the like snowballing basically, and it doesn't make much sense to me, because like, especially like in your situation, you're young, you've made, quite a bit of money, 6 figures, and if you were to stop and kind of just work on school, exactly what you said, you're losing that
Yeah, exactly.
momentum.
Yeah,
That's the word.
and now, actually, like, obviously I said, when you have momentum, it's good to build, and like when business cycles are going good, it's good to double down. But actually, I kind of contradict myself, but I actually think it's better to build in a time like right now, when we're literally almost essentially, basically, unofficially, officially in like EP in the US. Now is such a good time to build, because if you can get something going right now, like, I know right now I'm doing X amount from TikTok, I'm doing X amount from crypto. Like, if I'm able to pull a little over 5 figures right now, imagine what it'll be when we're out of this recession. Because think about how many people will start watching TikTok and all that. My views will go up even more. I've already established a really, really good name for myself. With crypto, obviously, everything will start to go up. It'll be easy. Like I said, you just super easy to trade the uptrends. So now's the perfect time to build. Where like I've been going like really, really, really hard, because I know within 6 months to a year, or maybe 1 year to 2 years, if I'm able to make money right now, and even for anyone just watching, even if they're able to make like a couple, like 500 a month, let's say, from their side business, when we do better economically, everything will ramp up. So now is the perfect time to build a little base where you can get things rolling. Like, basically, my point is if you can find a way to make money now, it will minimum double to 10x when we're in better times. And now you start to accumulate money, you start to save money, you put that into literally anything. It doesn't matter if it's crypto stock, it doesn't matter. You're minimum doubling your money. Like, you can buy like the safest. Google is down. I mean, Facebook is down like 50% from highs. So like, reputable companies are down as much as like 20 to 50%. Even if you take out Facebook from the equation, but or Meta, like Google down like probably 30%, 20% from highs. I have to check the exact amount, but all these good companies are down a lot. So you can put your money into the safest stocks and asset classes and things like that, and you're still getting minimum 50 to 100% return. And then you go into the riskier side, Bitcoin, crypto, whatever it may be, you can get minimum 10x, sometimes 100x, sometimes even 1000x. Right now, things return to the point where they were, and maybe they won't, but it's I think it's a bad idea betting on the U.S. economy that'll continue to, within 1 to 2 years, that we won't be in a better place than we are now.
That's a really good point. It's kind of like if you can make money when the market's down, you can make a lot more money when the market's up. Yeah. Shit. And okay, this is the thing. Kind of going back to like parents and uni and stuff. Like that's kind of sparked this whole like conversation. I don't think it's that parents are trying to like trap their kid, because kind of like what you're saying, right? Like if you specifically like stopped doing crypto futures and you kind of focus on school, you're losing all that momentum. I don't think that like when kids get told that like very similar things, um, I don't think it's the parents trying to trap the kids or the parents trying to kind of negatively affect the kids. I think it comes from two places. First, like a place of love, where like for them it's like, oh, having a job, having a degree is safe, right? And of course they're your parents, they want what's best for you. Like that kind of makes sense. But I think it's also just like the lack of knowledge that they have. Like when my parents, like if I say like, oh hey, like I'm doing, like let's say this, like when I say I'm doing a podcast and stuff, they say like, oh, well you're still going to go to school, right? Like there's no future potential in something like this. And I don't think it's they're trying to shit on it. And I mean, like, this applies to anyone. I don't think when parents are kind of trying to pull you back from it, I don't think they're trying to they're doing it to be malicious. I think they're doing it, like, just to like recap, like they're doing it first out of love, and second just out of like they just don't really know the whole truth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's for sure true. Like, yeah, obviously they're doing it like with your best intentions, saying, "Oh, you should go to school," all that type thing. But the way I see it is, I don't want my parents' life. Like, I look at them and like nothing wrong with it, but like they work normal jobs. They're like traditional, like work 40 years. Maybe you have times where you look forward to the weekend and you enjoy that. But I don't want to live a life where I'm looking forward to my next Friday. Like, I know the day I'm not excited for Mondays is the day my life has hit rock bottom. Well, I want to be, or not even Mondays, but like every single day be excited for. I know, obviously you'll have some days where it might not be like that, but in general, I want like the majority of time where I go to bed excited for the next day, which is basically every single day right now. Uh, and I don't think my parents, obviously I don't know for sure, but I don't think that's their life. And I don't think that's the life of most middle class people. I think most middle class people look forward to the Fridays and day where they can finally end work and then they can enjoy their Saturday. And then Sunday, they're dreading for Monday. Like, that's not the life I want to live. So I don't want to live my parents' life. So I don't want to follow in their footsteps to like achieve that life. Like what they're saying, I think a lot of parents have like this idea that essentially my kids, I'll raise them and then they'll be like one step above me, where so maybe I grew up poor to middle class, and then now my kid will go middle class to like upper middle class, or maybe even like rich in a sense that they're making like 200K a year type thing, uh because they will do the same things I did, but then sort of do it sooner. Like they'll go to university, they'll do a better degree than me, things like that. You know what I mean? Uh, Whereas like I'm trying to like break out completely from like the rat race where I don't even want a job. So like I can't do the actions that my parents are telling me to do. If I want to, like, me doing the actions my parents are telling me to do will land me in the same position I'm doing, that they're in. But maybe I'm making an extra $50,000. But realistically, what is an extra $50,000 if you still hate your Mondays? You know what I mean? If you want to be in the top 1%, you can't do what the other 99% of people are telling you to do. So like I'll hear people tell me, "Oh, you should stay in school. You should," like I'll hear it and it'll go out the other ear. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'll ignore it completely because I know these. I look at these people's lives and I can see maybe not exactly, but like I can get a pretty good idea of what type of route all these people are telling me to stay in school, like what their type of lives are, what their types of lives will be. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want that type of 9 to 5 life. Not that I don't like working. I love working, and it doesn't feel to work like work to me. But I know for most people, middle class people who are upper middle class or whatever, who work in, or even poor who work in 9 to 5, their job does not feel like, it feels like work. You know what I mean?
So this is the outro. I hope you guys have a great day. The next episode, the part 2, should be up next week. Next week, Wednesday. Sorry that this episode came out a bit late. Yes. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Like, subscribe. Peace out, love gang. Mwah.